My boyfriend secretly lived with his baby mama, so I sent her a text message saying, I didn't know he had kids. That day we both dumped him. I found out my boyfriend had a whole family in the next city over because my best friend snapped a photo of him walking into a house with a toddler on one side and a woman with groceries on the other. 8 months of dating, 8 months of sleepovers, wine nights, movie marathons, and sweet nothings. And not once did I set foot in his place. He lived in Fremont. I lived in San Jose. Close, but he made it feel like crossing a state line every time I brought up visiting. Always a reason, too messy. Construction next door. Roommates weird. Whatever. I didn't push. I was falling in love with the version of him he brought to me. The red flags were there. He avoided long weekends. Holidays were family emergencies or work stuff. I told myself he was just bad at relationships, not hiding an entire one. Then Monica ruined everything with one text. Isn't this Marcus? Isn't this Marcus? Attached was a photo of him in broad daylight, walking casually down a driveway holding a child's hand. The little girl was maybe 3 or 4, curly hair, tiny pink jacket. Next to them, a woman with a ponytail and groceries, the kind of scene you only see when people live together. The kind of scene you only see when you're not supposed to. I couldn't move. I just stared. That little voice that had been nagging me for months was suddenly screaming. I asked Monica where she saw him. She sent the address, a quiet street in Fremont. I didn't sleep that night. I just stared at the ceiling, thinking about all the times he said he couldn't FaceTime because he was driving or at the gym, about the times I asked about his past and he gave those vague, brushed-off answers, said his last relationship ended badly and he didn't keep in touch, said he had no kids, not ready for them. At 3 a.m., I started digging. His socials were sanitized, Instagram useless, Facebook barely active, but I remembered his cousin's name from a post months back. She was wide open. That's where I found him, in the background of a backyard birthday party, standing behind a woman while holding a baby, smiling, comfortable. The woman's name was Tasha. I found her profile. I couldn't breathe. Her posts were like watching someone else's life play out in reverse. Photos of her and Marcus kissing, holding hands at pumpkin patches, family selfies at the beach. Then came the captions, grateful for this little family we built. Nothing better than movie nights with our girls and daddy. I didn't even realize he had more than one kid until that post. And then the one that shattered the last of my doubt, a Mother's Day post 3 weeks ago, to the man who made me a mom. Thank you for never making me feel alone in this. He was tagged, smiling, commented with a heart emoji. I sat in the dark, staring at the screen. Marcus didn't just lie. He built a life with someone else and then came to me pretending to be single. He didn't just cheat, he pretended I was the only one. I didn't call him. I didn't scream or text or throw my phone. I needed more. I wanted to be sure. I needed something solid, something undeniable. So I pulled Monica in. We spent the whole next day deep, diving into Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, even Pinterest. I don't know what we thought we'd find there, but we weren't leaving any platform untouched. Monica messaged one of the women who had commented, "So cute on a photo of Marcus and the kids," said she was trying to plan a surprise for a mutual friend and needed to know how long they'd been together. The girl replied within the hour, "They've been on and off for years, I think since college, but they've been solid lately. I saw them at a wedding together not long ago. Years." I felt sick. We eventually found Tasha's Instagram. It was set to private, but her profile pic was telling enough. Marcus. 2 kids, all smiling like some discount Target ad for happiness. I stared at that photo so long I memorized the background. Some park or hiking trail. I could almost hear the leaves crunching under their shoes. It was Monica's idea to reach out to her. She said if it were her, she'd want to know. I wasn't sure what to say, so I just sent her a message. "Hey, I know this might sound weird, but I think we need to talk." It's about Marcus. I have no bad intentions, but I just found out something, and I'm kind of freaking out. She didn't respond right away. Hours passed. I thought maybe she blocked me. Then, just after midnight, a reply, "What is it?" I typed and deleted the next message about 10 times before I landed on this. I didn't know he had kids. The three dots popped up immediately, then stopped, started again, then nothing for 5 whole minutes. I waited, heart pounding, until finally she replied, "That's me." We picked a neutral spot, an old cafe in the middle of nowhere between Fremont and San Jose, quiet, dimly lit. I got there first and ordered something I didn't even drink. She came in, 10 minutes later, calm, hair tied back, no makeup. She looked tired. I stood when she came over. She sat down slowly. Didn't say anything at first, just stared at me like I was a mirror she didn't want to look into. Then I pulled out my phone and showed her a photo I took of Marcus and me a few months ago. He had his arm around me, smiling, wearing the same hoodie I'd seen in her pictures. I watched her face shift. I didn't need to say another word. She showed me hers, photos, videos. Him with the kids, birthday parties, lazy Sundays, Halloween costumes. He called her babe, and one of the videos was him helping their older daughter with homework. We sat there for almost 2 hours. We compared timelines, dates, lies. We talked about everything. How he avoided certain weekends. How he always had an excuse to leave early. How he never let her come to his job. Never. Let me visit his place. He'd all lined up. He had been living a double life perfectly. He'll know. We didn't cry. We didn't yell. We just stared at this ugly puzzle that had finally been put together. And then I said what we were both thinking. We have to end this. But not just end it. We're going to make him feel what it's like to lose everything at once. We didn't go for some dramatic public confrontation or explosive scene. That's not how you make it sting. We wanted silence, emptiness, a vacuum of explanation. Tasha left first. She waited until a regular Thursday night. She packed a bag, took the kids, and left the house while he was at work. She didn't block him. She didn't even text. She just left the front door wide open and his key on the counter. She messaged me as soon as she was gone. "It's done." The next day, I waited. Marcus showed up at my place around 6 o'clock, same as always. Smiling. Same hoodie, same face. I let him in, sat him down, handed him a beer. I wanted him to relax. I wanted him to believe everything was normal for just 5 more minutes. Then I told him, you know. He blinked, confused. "Me and Tasha. We know everything. You didn't cover your tracks. You just got lucky for 8 months." He tried to laugh, tried to play dumb, said, "What are you talking about?" Like the words would erase what I knew. I didn't say another word. I just picked up my phone, scrolled to the pictures of me and Tasha in that cafe, laughing like old friends with our drinks on the table. I handed it to him. His face dropped. I've never seen someone unravel like that. He wasn't even angry. He was just stunned. Kept shaking his head like he could rewrite reality by refusing to accept it. He started talking fast, said he didn't mean to hurt me, that it was complicated, that things with Tasha weren't what I thought, that they weren't really together, just co-parenting, that I was the one he loved. So I asked him one thing. If that's true, why did you spend Mother's Day with her and post that photo? He couldn't answer. I told him to leave. He stood there for a second, like maybe I'd take it back, like maybe I'd soften. But I didn't. I just stared until he finally turned and walked out. I closed the door and locked it behind him. Tasha called me that night. She said he showed up at the house and stood in the driveway like he didn't know what to do. She didn't let him in, didn't even speak to him. She said, "We're free now." And weirdly, we were. Marcus tried to come back like nothing had happened, like he could press rewind on a destroyed life and walk backward into the parts that still worked. He texted me that weekend, "Can we talk?" I didn't answer. He called twice the next day, Left a voicemail saying he was sorry, that he felt like everything had just exploded and he was trying to fix it. I deleted it before it finished. He wasn't ready for the silence, the calm after the collapse. That's what messed with him the most. No screaming, no fighting, no closure. Tasha wasn't replying either. She'd moved into her sister's place with the kids, changed the locks, blocked his number after he showed up a second time, and tried to talk through the door for over an hour. I heard about that from her cousin. Marcus didn't know I was in contact with her whole circle now. I was like a shadow in the background of his life, watching him scramble, fail, repeat. By the end of the second week, I started getting messages from unknown numbers, different area codes, same kind of tone. "Hey, it's Marcus. I need to talk. Just give me 5 minutes." Walked. Then the burner account started watching my stories on Instagram. No profile pic, no followers, just watching. I wasn't even surprised anymore. Tasha and I started talking almost daily. Not about him, about everything else. She told me about her job, her kids, how weird it was to feel relief and grief at the same time. I got it. We were both living this strange version of the same story, just from different angles. Then one night she sent me a screenshot. Marcus had posted something on his Instagram for the first time in forever. It was a black square with a long caption. He talked about losing everything and not being the man he thought he was. He mentioned being betrayed but didn't say by who. Said he needed time to rebuild. It had 3 likes. I didn't bother reading the rest. That post wasn't for us. It was for the next girl who'd feel bad for him. Tasha messaged me right after. He still doesn't get it, and he wouldn't. That's what made it all feel done. The weirdest part wasn't losing Marcus. It was how fast life started to feel normal without him. I started sleeping better. My apartment felt lighter. There wasn't a guy coming in once a week with half-end distractions, taking up space and making promises he never planned to keep. Tasha was doing the same thing. She found a new rhythm: work, kids, friends. She even went on a date a month after everything went down. She told me afterward it was awkward and boring, but at least it wasn't with a liar. We kept in touch. Texts, calls, sometimes just memes. We joked that we'd been trauma bonded, but it wasn't really a joke. She sent me a picture one day of her daughter in a Halloween costume, an astronaut. Said Marcus used to promise to take her to the NASA museum that never followed through. She took her herself this time, said it was the best Saturday they'd had in months. I told her I was proud of her. A few weeks later, I ran into one of Marcus's friends at a bar in downtown San Jose. He recognized me right away, but hesitated like he wasn't sure if I'd slap him or say hi. And he said Marcus had been laying low, still in Fremont, still trying to tell people it was all a huge misunderstanding. Apparently, he told a new girl that both me and Tasha were crazy and had teamed up to ruin his life. That actually made me laugh out loud. When I told Tasha, she said, "He's really out here acting like we're the villains in his origin story." But the truth was, he wasn't the victim. He was just a guy who got caught. There was no redemption arc waiting for him. No dramatic apology tour. End of Tepshid Kanik. And Cometit. No dramatic apology tour. Just a man left behind by 2 women who finally realized they deserved more. It's funny how someone can be the center of your world one month and the punchline of a shared joke the next. Tasha and I met up again about 2 months after it all fell apart. Same cafe, different vibe. This time, there were smiles. No tension, no screens full of proof. Just 2 women who survived the same storm and somehow came out stronger. We talked about dating again. We both agreed. No more charmers with vague answers and mysterious schedules. No more men who treat commitment like a part-time job. She said something that stuck with me. We were both Plan B, Ash. He thought he could juggle 2 lives and neither one of us would notice. And for a while he was right, but we noticed. She eventually filed for child support. I supported her through it because no matter how much of a mess he was, he still had 2 kids. He couldn't just ghost. He fought it, of course. Claimed he didn't have a job, but she had receipts, photos, dates, screenshots. He didn't stand a chance. He finally messaged me again a few weeks ago, a long paragraph about how he hoped I was doing well, that he missed what we had, said he hoped I could remember the good times. I didn't respond because I do remember the good times. They were just built on lies. Tasha and I still talk. We've got our own little friendship going. One that never should have existed, but I'm glad it does. We've become this strange version of each other's closure. Proof that even when you get played, you can still come out of it smarter, sharper, and absolutely done with nonsense. And Marcus. He became a story we tell now, sometimes with a drink, sometimes over text, always with the same ending. He thought he had two women, but he lost both in one day, and we never looked back. It had been a quiet month. Too quiet. Marcus had gone completely off my radar. And no weird texts, no new burner accounts, no desperate Instagram quotes about growth or betrayal. It was like the whole thing had finally died. Tasha and I were still talking every other day. Life was settling into this new version of normal. Her kids were doing well. She'd started going on walks in the evening just to clear her head. I was back in a groove, working, seeing friends, even letting myself consider the idea of dating again. And then it happened. I got a Facebook message request from someone I didn't know, Serena. Pretty girl, blonde hair, soft smile, standing in a backyard that looked familiar. Not exact, but close enough to make a pose. I opened the message. Hi, I hope this isn't too weird. My name is Serena. I think we need to talk. It's about Marcus. I just stared at it. I forwarded the screenshot to Tasha with no context. Her response came within seconds. Tell me. That's not what I think it is. I messaged Serena back. Hey, what's going on? She didn't waste time. She said she met Marcus at a car wash in Fremont. Said he struck up a conversation, made her laugh, asked for her number. This was 4 months ago. He told her he was single, no kids, just a chill guy working on himself and not really into drama. He'd been seeing her regularly, always at her place, never his, never late nights, never on weekends. Said he worked a lot, had family obligations he didn't like talking about. Sound familiar? He disappeared one weekend, said it was a funeral. When he came back, he was distant, weird, so she started looking. She found his Instagram bare, but then she noticed a comment. Under one of his posts, a mutual friend. She clicked, then found a photo from months ago. Me, my arm around Marcus, smiling. Tasha was tagged in a comment. From there, she followed the digital breadcrumbs until she landed on everything. She said she sat in bed for 2 hours, scrolling, heart racing, realizing she had no idea who she'd been dating. I asked her when exactly they started seeing each other. She said the first date was the week after Valentine's Day. That's when I nearly dropped my phone. That was the same weekend Marcus told me he was going through something and needed space. The same weekend he told Tasha he was visiting family up north. We thought he was taking a break. He was starting someone new. Asked for proof. She sent screenshots, texts, photos. One of him cooking in her kitchen, smiling like he hadn't just burned his whole life down weeks before. This wasn't just another side girl. This was the third life. Tasha called me the moment I'd sent her the screenshots. This guy, she said, he really thought he could run a rotation of girlfriends like we were invisible. Zarina was quiet at first, processing. I could tell she was trying not to cry, not from heartbreak but from humiliation. We told her everything. How it started, how we found each other, how he crumbled the moment we cut him off, how this wasn't an accident or a misunderstanding. It was a pattern. And now we knew for sure it had never been just two of us. We'd stopped being heartbroken weeks ago. Now we were curious. How many were there? Because if he was willing to juggle 3, there were probably more. He didn't just get caught. He was still running the same game on someone else. Somewhere. This wasn't a love story gone wrong. This was a man who turned lying into a lifestyle. And suddenly, I felt like the quiet month was just the eye of the storm. Adding Serena to the group chat was like lighting a fuse. The quiet month had been the eye of the storm, and now the real fallout began. Tasha said it first. We need to warn the others. We pulled together everything. Screenshots, texts, photos, laid it all out like a map. The overlaps were unreal. The same weekends, the same lines. He told Serena she was his piece. Told Tasha they were rebuilding. Told me he needed space to heal. He wasn't just playing us. He was cycling through us. Then Serena mentioned Jasmine, a girl who had liked every one of his gym selfies for months. Serena messaged her, and sure enough, Jasmine had been seeing Marcus too. He told her he was single but taking it slow. That made 4 of us. And we knew there were probably more. This wasn't some cheating scandal. This was a system. He was running a rotation like it was normal life. We made an Instagram page not to go viral, just to document. We didn't use names, just stories, screenshots, timelines, truth. Within hours, someone messaged, I know. Marcus deactivated everything within a day, vanished, but it was too late. He didn't just lose 3 women. He lost his whole illusion.